Hi there, students. This is Dr. John, your physics and math professor. Today we're going to look at factoring trinomials, easy ones like this or more complicated ones like this. When I was in high school, this was one of the hardest things for me. I'm going to give you a trick to help you to do all of these, to help you to factor any of these into a set of two things that multiply together like this. As long as the results are rational, you're going to be able to do this with my method here that I'm going to give you. This method will replace all the other tricks that you might have. Now this one, of course, is very easy. You could do this brute force method. The first one has to be an x, because x times x has to be equal to x squared. This is going to have to be a 2 and a 1, because that has to multiply to 2. And since this is plus and this is plus, these have to both be plus. Let's check it. 2x squared, 2x, and x makes you 3x. So there you've done this one, brute force method. This is the first method you're probably going to learn, and you can do this very easy one. But if you tried to do some of these harder ones, you would not be able to do it brute force method, or it would take you about an hour to do that. So I'm going to give you another method. What you do for this one is very, very simple. You take this first term, the term in front of the x squared, which is a secret 1. We're not writing it in there. We don't have to write it in there, but it's a secret 1. We take that 1, multiply it by 2, and get that number. That's the number 2. And then we take this number 3 over here, and we try to find two terms that multiply together to get you this and add up to get you this. So we want them to multiply to get you this and add up to get you this. I'll use some different colors for this. So here, the different choices we would have really are only 1 and 2, because 1 times 2 is 2. But also 1 plus 2 is 3. So you've gotten this here, this result, and this result, so your numbers are 1 and 2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this 3x term and split it into two terms, a 2 term and a 1 term. Just remember 1 and 2. All right, we'll keep the first term the same. And then this term we're going to split up into plus x, or 1x, remember there's a secret 1, plus 2x. These two add up to 3x, just like there, plus 2. Now what we do is we group these two terms together. These two terms and these two terms. I could put some rounded or square brackets around those like this. Just be careful if there's a minus or a plus sign in there, make sure, because that's going to get distributed over all of these. Now what can we factor out of this? Well, we can factor an x out of that. So I'm going to have an x times x plus 1, and then here I'll have a plus. What can I factor out of this? A 2x plus 1. Now notice I have an x plus 1 common here, and an x plus 2 here can be factored like this. X plus 2 times x plus 1. This x plus 1 is common. I've taken the x here and the 2 here. So notice here I got the same thing that I got with a really super easy method, but I did it by this method here. So now I'm going to look at the next one. We'll write that down, come back in 2 seconds. So here we have the second example that I wrote down up here. X squared minus x minus 6. Notice the secret number in front of here is a 1. And the secret number in front of here is a minus 1. We just don't always write those in there because we already have the variables and we already know that's a 1 and a minus 1. So we take this number in front of here, which is a 1, multiply it by minus 6 to get minus 6. And then we take the number in front of here, which is minus 1. Now we're looking for two numbers that are going to multiply together to get you minus 6, add up to minus 1. You know one of them is going to have to be negative. This is fairly easy. You know you're going to need to use 2 and minus 3. So 2 times minus 3 gives you minus 6, and 2 plus minus 3 gives you minus 1. So there you've got your two numbers. So we're going to split this one up here into these two numbers. So let me just go down here a little bit. I'll rewrite the front here, x squared, and then this one here. We can use either this term or this term. Let's start with this term, plus 2x, and then we're doing the rest of this here. So we go minus 3x minus 6. We're writing it down just the way it is. These two terms add up to minus x. We're not changing anything. We're just rearranging it so that we can work with it more easily. Now we group these two together. What can we take out? Well, we can take out an x. So taking out an x leaves me an x plus 2. And what about this one? Well, we want this to be of the same form. So let's take out a minus 3. So if we take out a minus 3 like that, we're left with x plus 2. Because this is minus 3. This is minus 6. So now notice you have the same thing here. You have a common x plus 2. And we have an x minus 3. We can check it really quickly. X squared minus 6 minus 3 plus 2 gives us that. So we've done this one now. Now, in case you wonder, what if you put these in a different order? What if you switch the order of these two around? Let me just write the answer up here so we don't forget it. The answer is x minus 3, x plus 2. And let's take these two terms here and switch them around with each other. So this would be minus 3x here and plus 2x here. Lots of extra little lines there. Sorry about that. Well, again, we'll group the first two and we'll group the last two. So here we can take out a common x. We'll have an x here times x minus 3. And then over here, we want this to look the same. So we'd like an x minus 3. Well, to do that, we have to take out a 2. Plus 2 times x minus 3 gives us this. Now we can group this as x plus 2, x minus 3. We get the same answer. These two are flipped around, but that makes no difference. Mathematics, multiplication is commutative, so you can move things back and forth. So here's this one here. I'll erase some things and come back for the third one. All right, here we took the third one. I wrote down 5x squared plus 2x minus 1. Take the first term and the last, and you get, multiply them together to get minus 5, and then take this term over here. There's nothing you can multiply together to get you minus 5 and add up to this. So immediately that tells you that this can't be factored in this normal way. Now, what does that mean? Now, here's a graph of this. If I drew a graph of this, here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. Notice because this one's positive, it opens upward. There's three different ways this could happen. It could be like this, where it would touch the axis twice, there and there. Or it could be something like this, where it never touches the axis. This would have no roots. Or it could just barely touch. How can I draw that? It's really nice. It could just barely touch in one spot. We don't know what that spot is. This one would be 2 roots. This would be 1 root. This would be 0 roots. We don't know right now because we can't factor this using this method, which means all that really means is there's not going to be rational roots, which means these numbers here aren't going to be really nice numbers like 3/2 or 2/3 or 5 or something like that, or minus 20. They're not going to be really nice numbers. Remember, a rational number is one number over another. They may be irrational numbers. So let's do this, factor this one another way, which would be using the quadratic formula. So here I just quickly, for time saving, I wrote the quadratic formula out this way. To use it, you have to put these in order of the x squared, x, and this. And the number in front of there is a, b, and c. We have other videos that do this. If this is equal to 0, the x is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I wrote those out here. B is 2, so it's minus b plus or minus 4, b squared minus 4a. 4a is 5c. So these are both negative, so this is going to be 20. Add this up here, it's going to be 24. So this is going to be minus 2 plus or minus the square root of 24 divided by 10. 24, of course, is 4 times 6. So we could take a 2 out of this, and we could make this plus or minus 2 root 6. We could divide this 2 by here, leave a 5 down there, and make this a 1. So this is a 1, this is a 1. So I'm going to rewrite that. Minus 1 plus or minus the square root of 6 divided by 5. So notice here, you do have 2 roots for this. The roots are, the axis of symmetry is minus 1/5. It's these two parts. This part, though, is irrational. That means it's going to have a non-repeating decimal. It's going to continue on for infinity. There's no exact spot on the graph you can put this. This is called an irrational number. An irrational number. And this method that I showed you here will find any roots if it's rational, but not if it's irrational or if there's no root that exists. So I'm going to erase this one, go to number 4, do one that's a little bit harder. So I wrote the fourth example over here, 2x squared plus 7x minus 4, and we take the first two numbers, multiply them together. 2 times minus 4 gives you minus 8, and then we take 7 here. We're trying to find two numbers that multiply together to get you minus 8, add up to 7. Well, that shouldn't be that difficult because one of them is going to have to be negative. So what we're going to need to do is then, how about minus 8 or plus 8 times minus 1? That would multiply together to get you minus 8, and it would add up to 7. 8 plus minus 1 is 7. So those are our two numbers. We're going to split this into 8 and minus 1. Let's just remember that as I erase this. So we're going to split this into 8x plus minus 1x. Let's put an extra plus in there. You don't have to do that. So let's write this all out. We're going to have 2x squared plus 8x minus x minus 4. Now remember, you could switch these two around. You're going to get exactly the same answer. Just try to arrange them in whichever way it looks more natural. So this one here, these are both very small numbers. So we'll put them together, and they're both negative, so maybe that's easier. We'll put these bigger numbers over here. Notice there's a 2 common here and an x. Let's take that out, a 2x, like that. We're left with x plus 4. Notice we'll want an x plus 4 here, which means we'll want to take out a minus 1, x plus 4. Now we have an x plus 4 common, so 2x minus 1, that's this term and this term, times x plus 4, and you've just factored this. Now in this case, notice this, minus 4 is the end, 2x squared, and the middle is minus x plus 8 gives you 7x. And the roots for this, if this was equal to 0, let's say this is all equal to 0, the root here would be, change colors, here x would be equal to minus 4, and here you'd have to go 2x minus 1 equals 0, take the 1 to the other side, 2x equals 1, x equals 1/2. So the roots here, or the x-intercepts, if this is equal to 0, would be minus 4, it's a little messy, and 1/2. So in this case, it's a rational number, but it's not a natural number or a whole number like this one is. So this one will solve things for you, even if it's some sort of rational number that's not a natural number. Let's look at the next one, which is going to be substantially harder. All right, I've rewritten this one quite a bit harder. If you try to use this brute force method, it's going to be very difficult. Using my method, it's very easy. So 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. This number times this number, keeping all the minus signs. This times is minus 36, and then this is plus 5. So what we want is two numbers that multiply together to get you minus 36. One of them will, of course, be negative, and add up to this. So let's just go through all the different options. First of all, we're going to have 36 and 1. Well, no matter what you do, even if this is negative, this is going to be 35, so it won't work. And then the next one is half of this is 18 plus 18 is 36, so it's 18 and minus 2. That's going to be 16 over here. That won't work. So let's try 9 and minus 4. That's going to multiply together to get you minus 36, add up to 5. So those are the magic numbers that you're looking for. So what we want up here is 9 and minus 4. I'll erase some of this, and here we go. 6x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 6. Again, flip these around, whichever is easier. I just did it the way that they popped up here right away. So I'll group these two together. What can we take out? Well, we have a common 3 and a common x. So 3x, and then here's going to be left at 2x plus 3. That's what's left here. And here we want this similar. So since we have a minus sign on both of these, we'll want to take out a minus what? 2 times what? 2x plus 3. Now notice you have this term, both multiplied by 2x plus 3. So we'll just do this, 2x plus 3, and it's 3x minus 2. You can quickly check to see if this works. This is minus 6. This is minus 4 plus 9. It works for the middle. So there you've just factored the whole thing. Now what if you wanted to find the roots? In case this is equal to 0 here, well then these are equal to 0, which means either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. Well, in that case, 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Take this over there, is equal to minus 3. X is equal to minus 3 halves. And this one, similarly, x is going to be equal to plus 2/3. So those are the two roots. Those are the two x-intercepts. If you were graphing it, you would graph it like this. This is minus 3 halves, minus 1, minus 2. Minus 3 halves is there. This is plus 1, plus 2. This one's over there. You know it opens upward. You have a graph something like this. You don't know how deep it is, but you know that those are the points, those are the roots, or the solutions, or the x-intercepts. You get them very quickly from this, and you can sketch a graph knowing that it opens upward. Let's do the last one. Again, these would be very hard to do with any other method. Quite easy with this one. Okay, I've written the last one out here. 6x squared minus 14x minus 12. Using the same method. Take the first one and the last one, multiply them together, keep the signs. 6 times minus 12 is minus 72. And then write this one over here. We're looking for two numbers that multiply together to get you 72 and add up to 14. Let's just start with the extreme. 72 times 1. Well, one of them has to be negative. The larger one probably has to be negative. That's going to give you minus 71. That won't work. Half of this is 36. So let's go minus 36 times 2. Add those up and you're going to get minus what? 34. That's too big. What's the next one? Minus 18 times 4. Multiply those together, you get minus 72. Add them up and you get minus 14. And you're basically done. Let's just do the last steps. It's going to be minus 18 plus 4. So minus 18 and plus 4 here. And what do we end up with? 6x squared minus 18x plus 4x minus 12. Again, do these whichever way is easier. This is probably the harder way. So what these first two terms here? We can take a 6x out of each of those, left with an x minus 3. And over here, we'll want to take out plus 4, and we're left with x minus 3. We have a common x minus 3. 6x plus 4, bracket, x minus 3. You've just factored this very difficult one here. And if you wanted the roots, this is equal to 0, so x would be equal to what? Minus 4 over 6, or minus 2/3, and x is equal to 3, and you've got the roots. So hopefully that helps you. If it does, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.